Hi, Scorpio. Happy birthday to those of you with a birthday. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version to this reading. And I feel it's juiciness, or it's like well-roundedness, because there's so much we can talk about even without the cards this month, to be honest. I mean, everything just from even just reflecting on last month, to be honest with all of you. But as you know, this month is the month where we get really in touch with our intuition, whether you know it or not. So the first thing I want to say to everyone is that this month will, if there's any months that really prepare you to get into that intuitive side, or that intuitive side to come naturally through you, and this is when you test it, because this sweater would remind me of something I would have picked out as a kid. And what I love about this time of year, other than the fact that it's such a beautiful time of year, it's a transition time. I have a pretty personal relationship with death. So that's something I look forward to, just being able to be in that space with so much permission, without anything like these gray, rainy days. I was waiting to do this either at night or during a time where I just felt like it was your vibe. Like, not that you're opposed to those beautiful skies and the brightness. That's not what I'm saying. It's just one of those days where it gives you all the excuses to even be more yourself, to be in your own space, or in the energy that you so choose to be in, right, Scorpio? I know you understand me. And how fortunate. This is the first card came out. There's more, obviously, that can come from this. But what I do think that this is coming from, this specific card, is that your intuition, what I've been talking about, that's leading you to wherever there is still more from that wheel. And it's a powerful moment. You have a very powerful moment right now, or you may be experiencing it now, or you may be feeling into it at this time. There's many different signs that are also in Scorpio right now. So that's Mars, Mercury, and Mars is technically home. So that's even more of an armor, not an armor. That's even more energy that you can exude this month. The one thing you have to watch out for, this month is a great time to get, a lot done in one nice span of time, and then rest. You know how you work. That's mostly a very Scorpio thing. You go hard and then you rest hard. And, people like play hard, work hard. You do all of that. That has been, you and Capricorn and Gemini are the kings and queens of all of that, for sure. And so what you may come up against is your ego, of course. And that is a part of this power, the power dynamic that you feel. And the power dynamic doesn't have to be a negative or positive. It could be both. It could be one or the other, whatever. It's just that it's just a moment of learning for you this month with yourself. I find myself talking like this because I want to accentuate, I naturally accentuate what it is important to accentuate. And this can be such a prosperous time with a lot of fertile ground for you. And it could be from no matter where you're starting. You can't let your ego get in the way, and you've come up against things with your ego. First, check in with yourself. I check in with, where is this coming from? Did I learn this from anyone? Was it not under my control? Did it serve as a source of protection at one time? Because there's a lot of stuff you want to do this month, but I think more importantly than ever this month, there's a lot to get done, yes, and this face-to-face with your ego that the last 2 months have provided. So Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, the youthful times, testing the waters in all different ways. That's when we get into the teenager, we get into this realm of, okay, let's try this all out. Let's try, we did a little, but now we we know how to like sneak, like we know naturally like, well, if I don't say this, and maybe you still get in trouble because karma, but depending on your life, but this is where you test out the waters. So this is the point where you're at, and whether it's a business or love or specific relationship, where you begin to test out the waters. For a lot of you, it's about how you make money. It's how you draw in power, and it's how you utilize it as well. A lot of raw potential here this month. There's a lot to grow into in terms of feeling, but there's a lot of, and you can go off of these knowings. This isn't a month where you have to worry about, oh, don't push your luck. I don't think you'll even feel, so the ego for sure, but it's not coming from, it's coming from a place that there's still learning to do, but there has been already some learning that you can confidently direct yourself in this time. Move the sail in a drastic way and still be able to focus on the everyday tasks. But it looks like what comes first will be the external action, the putting your faith into practice, to taking the leap, to going through that emotional period that we can all go through during times of change, no matter how small or large, whether it was under your control or not. All those kinds of changes are going to happen in our lives this season. That's how these seasons also, they go. It's a part of the themes of what comes with these seasons and with these times in our lives. So it's asking for a lot of growth in terms of how you decide to respond and act in your life to what has been coming towards you. To take this, if you're healthy, to take your health and not only even uplift it even more, but to be grateful and honor what you have. That's a big theme. I don't need to even go there to have you understand that. That's a big theme. That gives you all the power in the world when you stop giving it elsewhere, putting in, if I'm this or if I get there, I can do. No. This is about your destiny. This is a very specific reading, which is why I needed a specific vibe. The first half of the month, you're like, well, why? You're going to feel like you should get to the everyday tasks. It's something that you do excel at when you do get down to it. But this is a time to work hard externally. You're going to get to the everyday tasks and not too far. You're getting there. Venus is in Virgo. You're not going to miss a detail. You're just not, as long as you listen to what your body needs, because there's something that you're seeing and you're able to see and you're very clear about your future. You're coming into that moment. For those of you who already knew, you're crystallizing it, or it's going through a change. Why so many options? Well, depending on where your other placements are, those things are important. And you may even go into this place where you doubt yourself so hard that you have to have the strength to, and it could just be a moment where you go really deep, really fast about your own life, about where you're going, about maybe you just get lost in thought. Maybe it just really brings you there at some point this month. What you've learned, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Divergent, but when she's in those, I forget what they're called, but it's like basically like those tests that they do to find out which faction or what, where they belong or like what they're good at. And the way they find out the person's divergent is when they're in that like simulation, they learn that it's not real. So it's like a dream. Like when you're dreaming, it's just as real as it is in your mind. So anything that is becoming real in your mind, remember that you have the control to get out of it, to go do something. Your body is so important. Again, you may have a few of those intense moments this month, but that's only showing you how strong you are, how capable you are. And these things that happen, and I know we don't always like to hear this, because this is such a powerful month for you, and this is such a time where so much potential is available to you, and so much abundance and the beginning of abundance and the reception of desires in a way that meets you at your heart. It meets you in a place that's very pure. You know, we all have pure desires. There's so much there this month that if I don't tell you just straight up what needs to be looked at, not that I wouldn't do that for you anyway, but it's so much more intensified this month because it's so clear for you. And the strength that you gain and the faith, like the faith bank, all these emotional banks, all these different places that we put our value into, what becomes clear is what you want to build. That what this life becomes for you, it's possible you've been questioning, like, you know, what is this life for me? I know I can do this, I've done that, I've proved to myself this, so I know I can do that, but what is the point? What is my process? How do I want to carry out this process? How do I want to utilize all this energy and power? If you're asking yourself those questions, or if there's someone in your life who brings someone that you really care about, could be a partner, could be even a business partner, or just someone that is close to you and inspires you, that's in your close knit group. For most of you, this is about you thinking about perhaps marriage, or just how you see your life, or how someone else inspires you to see your life, if that's what you really want. Again, it doesn't have to be, but they have inspired something in you, and you've taken a look at all of where you're at, and you may realize, like, okay, I need to let go of some things. There are some things that just don't add up, don't make sense for what I'm going for now, what I'm so sure about now, what I know I can change, but what I do want to commit to now. And that's such a big step for you, because you are passionate in some ways, and for some Scorpios, you can be very impulsive. This month is a calculated impulse, because you've learned enough with yourself to pay attention to your intuition, so that is calculated. But it's also the way you move. You move impulsively at some points, but then you start to act strategically, right? It's like within the umbrella of, I'm traditional, you may be traditional in certain way, but it gives you room to color. You know, it's like having a coloring book and coloring all inside of the lines or outside of lines, and be able to have control of creating more. It's just not about taking away, and what you take away from it, or you create new from it. You're creating this new structure for yourself. You've been creating this new structure for yourself, but now you see it in a more detailed way, and it's what fills you emotionally too. This is about emotional security in a huge way. Money and emotions are so tied, they're so linked, and that's what Venus comes to tell us. And Venus will be moving into Libra, and it will be a very clear view of where the weight is in the balance, and also about feeling what you're experiencing, feeling okay, like how great it feels to be in a trusting relationship if you're in one, but then how shaky it feels to be in a relationship that there maybe isn't full trust or full respect, and how you can see that so clearly and realize there are certain things in your life, and this isn't just about a relationship for some of you, but this is just about taking stock of, by the end of the month, you're going to want to burn some shit. We're entering Sagittarius season. There's some stuff that's been pent up. There's some parts of you that maybe you're not agreeing with. There's some people that, okay, you really have assessed, and you're just ready to burn some shit, and you're ready to move forward, and you're not giving a fuck. Like, we did whatever we wanted during my season, and now you are burning some shit away into the next season. Whatever's not, or whatever has caused the doubt. That becomes all these things, whether you like it or not. And this is what I was going to say before, bringing it back, is that there are a lot of cliches that are said, right? If I didn't tell you this, you wouldn't understand this, the highs and the lows of it all. The duality of it all is that no matter what has happened, it's propelled you to become, and has been a part of, the fuel to become who it is that you've become now, who it is that you're constantly becoming. So I know you may not want to be like, oh my God, I'm so, but you might want to just spend a moment and say, yeah, I am actually really grateful for that. That wouldn't have got me here. When you finally come down and get a moment, that will feed your ego in a way that is very important. It's very important to understand the power of that. The power of that understanding for yourself, for what you as a human uniquely and specifically goes through. You may also experience some questioning about the decisions that you're making. And that may go along with where it could be in the same time that you've been doubting yourself and then it presents itself externally to you. But this could also be about just how you choose to commit. This could be about commitment. This could be like a very strong conversation about what aligns and what adds up towards the end of the month as well. But it starts with you. It really does start with you. And it's a powerful time. People are drawn to you. You're drawn to yourself. But there's also this inspiration that comes from all of this dedication and hard work and commitment. And this devotion to something perhaps greater than yourself, but then at the same time knowing your limits. All right, Scorpio. We'll get into the next part right now. And I'll see you next month.